Get set to go. Best 3 out of 5 sets. Crowd still filing in. Hope it's not raining outside. There were thousands of people outside. Good first contact. Malk with the opening dig. And that ball off the edge of the block. Virginia Adriano from Turin, Italy. As a freshman, played for Bergamo in the Italian Series A League. Terea Sigler, 6'3" freshman out of Scottsdale, Arizona, on to serve for the first time. And that ball drifts just long.
Good for USC to get the early point, serving themselves. You know how good Abigail Mullen has been as a server, but we'll have a chance to see Verbeest.
Well, interesting. Brad Keller is going with 2 liberos. Megan Verbeest coming on to serve and play defense, and then playing with Taylor Deckert. It's a new innovation into the game as far as the rules. First team I ever saw do it was the Italian men's team about 10 years ago. So Verbeest on as the second libero. Tight pass, saved by Riley, opening chance for USC and trans. First swing for Mullen and missed it out of bounds. Abigail Mullen, a lot of focus on her. Been playing exceptionally well, but had some tough patches. And when she's good, what do we look for? When she struggles, what's happening with Mullen?
Well, when she's strong, she's able to consistently have her own pacing, get past the opposite side hitter. When she struggled, it's been a consistency thing.
Very nice swing off the outside. Number 2, London Weejay out of Porter Ranch, California. 11 of 27 on Friday night in the win over Rutgers. And it's really been one of the big reasons why USC has gone through this 9-match winning streak. Here is Mullen, one of the best servers in the Big Ten Conference, and you're about to see why. Dug by Mullen, off the scoreboard legally, but only play can continue if it stays on your side. That passed over onto Nebraska, so point side out to the Cornhuskers as Adriano at 6'5" goes back to serve.
Didn't see a whole lot of that in the past. This is a new video board this season at USC that's done that a whole lot.
I like the board. I think you can live with a couple of deflections. Very nice play that time by Reese Messer, the 5'11" freshman out of Kansas. Speaking of that, the Kansas Gatorade Player of the Year. And just speaking for myself, I think she's established herself as the favorite for the Big Ten Freshman of the Year.
She's deceptive. She kind of has that signature play where she kind of hits it down her side, but so good in the set as well.
Here is Mullen. Outside Murray. Good reach by McGinnis into the cross court. USC, one of the elite blocking teams in the Big Ten Conference. Dug by Deckert. Fomoina is going to score it. There was a net violation called against Nebraska.
They're going to need Fomoina to have a big game tonight. She's been a leader on this team vocally. Can that translate to her game on the court as she's kind of navigated the ebbs and flows this season?
Well, ebb and flow is exactly right. We'll say more about that after this particular play. Andy Jackson throwing that down successfully, number 15 in red. But Fomoina, the 6'1" redshirt junior out of Long Beach, 2.5 kills per set, okay. But hitting under 200 needs to be much, much more terminal, much more consistent. So keep an eye on number 1 in black. There is All-American Murray working on Fomoina. Perfect dig, right on target, and off the block and out of bounds, wearing number 27. 6'2" junior out of Ann Arbor, Michigan, the returning All-American, Harper Murray. Certainly one of the best all-around players in college volleyball.
It's hard to get it past McGinnis, who has so much precision on her block. That time.
Got to get more hands up there. You can't hope to go one-on-one against a player like Harper Murray out of the back row. Reception error by USC. Opening set here at the Galen Center. Number 1 Nebraska, 25-0 on top, 6-4. 25 aces coming into the weekend for Murray. That ball is passed way too tight. Good save by Messer. Out of the back row again. Pretty smart shot. I don't mind that from Fomoina. She was trying to recycle, but just the block for Nebraska too good.
And she's being aggressive early. That's what you need from her. You need her to be involved here in this first set, establish herself at the bottom of your screen. She needs to be a little more careful.
Excellent pass by Deckert. Fomoina coming back. Did she get a piece of the block? She did not. Looking to go high flat.
Similar example there. Fomoina still omnipresent here early. Just trying to get a little bit more precise.
Well, reception's fine. They're getting pretty good looks. As evidenced by that, nice kill out of the middle by USC.
Riley McGinnis that time. She'll be back to serve. They bring back in Leah Ford for some added help in the middle. Player that's got an elevated role this year.
McGinnis, 6'1" senior out of Long Beach. Her father, of course, one of the great all-time football players for the USC Trojans. Willie McGinnis, 3 times a Super Bowl champ. Speaking of football, pretty good comeback by the USC Trojans yesterday at home. Very rainy conditions at the Coliseum. Doesn't happen very often. Not the comeback, mind you, but the rainy conditions at the Coliseum coming back against Iowa. Here is Andy Jackson. Reception okay. Mullen out of the back row down the line. Dug by Choboy, playing at the defensive specialist. And Taylor Landfair, number 12, formerly the Big Ten Player of the Year at Minnesota in 2022 before transferring over to the Cornhuskers. 6'5" senior. Oh, good. USC hitting only 100, Nebraska hitting 500. And the serve reception has been pretty darn good. Nice block by Landfair. That could have been called a lift, and it will be. Yeah, it's a good call. 11-5 is the advantage.
And Messer did a good job keeping the play alive. Just being able to raise that left hand. But again, USC struggling to get any sort of consistency right now.
Well, Nebraska is the best defensive team in the country by a wide margin, so you're not exactly going to get easy kills on them. You have to pass the ball with precision. And Adonia Fomoina, we talked about her being a key. She's got a couple of hitting errors, as does Mullen. They've got to find their rhythm, or USC is going to be in trouble.
I want to see them set up Weejay a bit more like they did on that play. She hits so hard.
There is Messer, among the league leaders in assists so far in her first season of college volleyball. Perfect pass by Weejay into the middle. There's Fomoina off the block, though, dug by Harper Murray. Out of the back row. Might have been going out, but dug once again by Nebraska. Mauk, then Landfair. Bergen Riley out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Twice the Big Ten Setter of the Year, the first player in conference history to win that award in both her freshman and sophomore seasons, and on her way to her third. Good throw down the line. Taylor Landfair, who struggled a little bit on Friday night, only 5 of 20 with 3 errors against UCLA, off to a very, very good start. We talk about the defense of Nebraska. They hold opponents to a 127 hitting efficiency. That is best in the country. USC's passing has been good. Fomoina off speed. Mauk is all over that. Tremendous hustle by Murray. Smart shot by Fomoina. Not a great set, but able to deflect that ball off the Nebraska block.
He did a good job of cleaning it up. That's what USC has to do today, taking advantage of any sort of free ball, free play that comes about. How about the digging so far for Nebraska? It's been impossible for USC to evade. They
came to work, and Danny Busboom Kelly telling us after the match on Friday night, one of the things that did disappoint her, although with the win, it's like they got outworked a little bit at times by UCLA. Not so far this afternoon. Nice play. Rebecca Alex, 6'4" senior from right there in Lincoln, Nebraska, having a phenomenal campaign once again, and what a career. 512 total blocks, 5th all time, hitting .428 on the year, 3rd best in the conference. Big lead for Nebraska. Tough serve, working on Weejay, and able to get that ball off the defense and out of bounds. London Weejay at only 5'10", the redshirt sophomore, has been outstanding for the Trojans during this run.
She can elevate herself. We talked about it before. If they can set her up consistently, get her in a rhythm, she can break out. A few big games this past week. New career high in kill mark, 25.
I had 24 against Minnesota, 25 against Wisconsin. So doing it against some of the better teams in the country. Alec again. Bergen Riley making everything hum right along.
Nebraska's getting the ball a lot higher than USC is. allows for players like Alec to elevate. USC struggled on the receiving end of those.
That ball served just out of bounds. Nebraska's taken 22 swings, 11 kills, no hitting errors on the USC side. 222, and against Nebraska, that's not bad. 7 of 18 with 3 errors. Here is Mullen. And that ball drifts just out of bounds. 40 aces so far on the year. First time I saw Abigail Mullen serve, I went, wait a minute. That's a real weapon, and it has been so far for USC all season long.
It absolutely has been, and that complements what she's been able to do off the serve. Just for her, how can she get that consistency late in the year, really have that full drive toward the postseason?
Adriano into the middle, blocked by Jackson. Andy Jackson, number 15, returning first-team All-American. 15 of 24 was Jackson on Friday night at UCLA, with her flowing cupboard of talent to pursue the 6th national championship all-time for the Cornhuskers.
And that's with 8 newcomers, too, out of the 17 players.
Well, the returners are pretty good. The list: Bergen Riley, Rebecca Alec, Lainey Choboy, Adriano is new, Mauk is there as well, Landfair, Jackson. It's a pretty good lineup coming back.
Such a deep team, and that's what Brad Keller's trying to build at USC. Done a good job with the recruiting, but can learn from Nebraska a bit.
Weejay with 4 kills on 7 swings. Harper Murray once again, high flat, unstoppable off the top of the block. Harper Murray back to serve. Murray off to an exceptional start. Nebraska once again keeping the ball off the floor, working hard at the defensive end. Outside to Fomowina, and missed that just out of bounds. Send it over to Riley Sager.
Yeah, Coach was just talking about for the USC Trojans. You can see how fast Nebraska is playing. They're trying to create their own narrative here. They're trying to create their own pace. And he was just telling his team, listen, this is your house. This is your gym. You have to create the narrative. Block it all out. Focus on your job. Don't focus on the Nebraska fans or what they're trying to do on the other side of that net. Just focus on what you know.
Said swing by Fomowina. Thank you, Riley. Off the edge of the block and out of bounds. That's a lot to try to forget about. The Nebraska fans, what Nebraska's doing right now. The Cornhuskers playing at an exceptional level on both sides of the ball. Here's McGinnis. Choboy, perfect pass. Good block deflection out of the middle by Ford. Landfair off of McGinnis and out of bounds. Taylor Landfair with a really good start. Rebecca Alec is 3 for 6. Landfair now 4 of 8.
And Landfair has controlled her power so well in this game. She hasn't hit that hard to that level the entire match, but when she has, it's been lethal.
Fomowina going off speed, dug by Jackson, transition opportunity. Landfair again and scores again. Taylor Landfair, yes, a former Big Ten Player of the Year, but when you look at the numbers, struggled a little bit last season, only hit 215. She's hitting a full 100 points higher this year for the Cornhuskers. Big lead for Nebraska. Weejay, that did get a small piece of the block. Nebraska continues to score. Manya Ogabeche on the floor now at the middle blocking position, wearing number 14 in red for Nebraska.
USC is having a lot of trouble evading that block, no matter who it is. Feels like Nebraska putting up everyone to the house, being able to stop everything.
They're the best blocking team so far in the conference at just under 3%. Fomowina, another block. This set has gotten away from the Trojans. And look, the crowd, there's a lot of Nebraska fans here, but there are more USC fans. But what this has done for Nebraska, it has taken the USC fans out of the match so far with their fine play.
Sometimes hard to distinguish Cardinal versus the Nebraska Red, but you can hear those Cornhusker fans.
Another good pass and a crafty shot by Messer. Look, 23-11. Nebraska's going to win this opening set, but what is USC? As long as you're still out there playing, what do they need to try to get going before the end of this opening set to carry over into the second?
Like on that last play, they have to take what Nebraska is going to give them. Nebraska has been very tight at the net, but if USC can take advantage of some of those holes, they can carry that on as the match progresses.
Landfair, and Mullen got her down the line. Taylor Landfair. First time she's been slowed down, that by Mullen, along with Leah Ford in the middle for USC. Both of these teams among the league leaders in blocks per set. Tough serve down the line, but well handled by Choboy. Boy, you go Mauk, you go Choboy, and Olivia Mauk is the best passer statistically, along with Harper Murray on the team on the side for Nebraska. And Mauk is making her 9th start at the libero position. Set point number 1. Fomoina. What a rip into the cross court, dug by Messer. Coming to Landfair. Deep into the cross court. And Taylor Landfair registers her 6th kill on 10 swings, off to a really hot start, as are the entire Nebraska Cornhuskers team. Gave way to Obeche late in that opening set. Very, very efficient indeed. Perfect pass. And Murray down the line and tattoos it right on the sideline for Harper Murray.
That's what we saw Nebraska bring at the beginning of the first set. USC had trouble coming back from witnessing those types of hard hits.
Murray, like Landfair, struggled a little bit at UCLA. At the beginning of that match, she hit 0 in the opening set, but after that was her usual All-American self. I'll give you her totals in a minute. Harper Murray was 14 of 42 with 3 errors. Andy Jackson with a throwdown from Bergen Riley, and another good start for Mauk and Nebraska. It is very quiet in a building that's almost sold out. That's what Nebraska has done to the USC crowd so far. Mullen, the one time she hits out on the left side and missed it long. A lot of focus on Abigail Mullen. You talked to her before first serve, and so far she has struggled.
She has. She hasn't been able to establish herself on that far side. And again, she hasn't really dealt with a whole lot of presence at the net when she's had hits like that. It's just mishitting it.
Out of the back row, nicely done. USC needs a lot more of that. And Mullen, 0 of 4 so far for a young player who started out really well and then got into conference play. And people scout you. There's a scout getting in front of Mullen.
As we take another look, Weejay able to find the open space in the block. That's all USC has been able to take advantage of so far when they've scored.
Weejay is having a first-team All-Big Ten kind of season. 3.5 kills per set, hitting .253. Digging the ball, and absolutely the best offensive weapon, the most consistent certainly. Here is Adriano again, out of Italy. Plays at the opposite position. Ali Czech came in, the transfer from Baylor, and played some time at UCLA on Friday. Mullen off the top of the tape, still looking for her first kill. Murray found hands. Harper Murray with a high flat.
Talked about the USC blocking unit struggling out the gate. See it again as Nebraska just able to take advantage of those deflections time in, time out.
Well, Bergen Riley, an absolutely perfect set after a good first contact, and Harper Murray is so consistent and so good with her shot selection. Ford, and missed that out of bounds. Good connection, but missed it wide.
You can see the connections and the cohesiveness trickulating a bit for USC, but again, just not being able to find the brown hardwood has been the issue. I don't know if it's jitters or nerves or just misfiring.
Or Nebraska. Trying to avoid their block. Surprised Brad Keller didn't call a timeout, but to no avail. Adriano missed that serve, so it's now 6-2 if you're just joining us. On Big Ten Plus, Nebraska, the number 1 and undefeated team in the country at 25-0, and of course perfect in conference. Won the opening set easily, 25-13. USC is currently ranked at number 17. Trying to close out the season in strong fashion. Jackson again on the slide, dug by Messer. Look at Nebraska work at the defensive end. Murray. USC standing in as well at the defensive end, but not the answer for Jackson. That's Nebraska volleyball.
And that's what makes them so special. They're never out of a play. Keep it alive. And Jackson in the middle. She's so versatile, can get the block and then able to find the kill in the middle. USC just a step behind right now. Nebraska taking advantage.
Andy Jackson, the 6'3", returning All-American from Brighton, Colorado. First team last year when she hit .439, sixth best in the country. Even higher than that so far on the season. Mullen still looking for her first kill, 0 for 6. Tough chance here, looking for hands. Good deflection by Jackson. Not a good set in transition that time by Choboy, but Taylor Landfair made
to do that for most teams when they're facing off against Mullen and McGinnis on the block, but Nebraska able to evade that and get another point.
Brad Keller still disdaining the timeout. Here's Murray. And that in front of Landfair, that is London Weejay with the off speed from the left side. Now with 6 kills on 12 swings, no errors, hitting .500, but getting little, if any, help.
Yeah, she's also had to dig up the ball quite a bit, has 5 of those today. But not being able to connect with her teammates, kind of been the lone force.
Tough serve, but an absolute dime by Harper Murray. One of the best serves, and this is not hyperbole, one of the best serves in the country from Abigail Mullen. And Harper Murray put that right on target to Bergen Riley.
Just shows how good this Nebraska team is. You can fire on all cylinders with the serve, with the swings. Doesn't matter.
Here is Jackson. Good cover. Trubant was there. Weejay again. And again. Oh, what a set that time in trans. Deckert with a dig. Ripped down the line, Rebecca Alec.
Lainey Choboy is taking over right now for Nebraska. Beautiful set, like you mentioned, Paul. Able to stick with the play, putting her body on the line and forcing USC to be on their back foot.
Nebraska is the best team in the country in transition. They get from defense to offense more efficiently and have more. Back in 2006 for her alma mater. SC coming out of the timeout. Weejay covered by Deckert. Oh, Rebecca Alec closing the door on the cross court.
She did that a whole lot in the first set. Now coming out strong in the second one, right in the middle where she's able to use her frame to her advantage. She times it up perfectly.
4 blocks already for Nebraska, only 1 for USC. Excellent reception, and that ball attacked nicely by number 22. Riley McGinnis for USC.
I'm just thinking about the start to this game for USC. They could certainly use Mia Taverdi right now, who didn't play against Rutgers. A top transfer on this USC roster could be used right now. Nebraska native herself.
Transfer from Oregon is Taverdi. That ball missed out of bounds, and if Taverdi is unavailable again, as she didn't play against Rutgers, that is a big, big deal for USC. She is an outstanding offensive weapon, as you mentioned, from La Vista, Nebraska. Played 14 matches for the Oregon Ducks last year. Very, very dynamic, quick middle blocker. Alec going high hands.
What Alec's been able to do is kind of why I brought up Mia Taverdi, because they've had a lot from her in that regard, playing quick in the middle, buying a deflection. Alec gets hot even further in this second set. USC is not going to be able to score a whole lot.
Nebraska still hitting an even .500 so far in the match. USC and Fomoina 0.82. Transition opportunity out to Landfair. Good high swing. Recycle the point. What a set! Off the edge of the block and down. That is Bergen Riley doing Bergen kind of things.
And she just stays so patient on this play. Mentioned the set. Initial block from Messer. And behind the head set buys a deflection again. That's textbook.
Adriano now 3 kills on 5 swings. Adriano again, and her first error so far in the afternoon, going downtown. But when you have a 13-5 lead, you go ahead and take some high-risk swings.
And that's why USC has struggled, because they usually feel like the team that's experimenting against opponents when they have the lead. Haven't been able to do that playing on their back foot.
Back to the one libero system. Verbeest wore the other libero jersey in the opening set. Taylor Deckert will be the lone libero so far here in the second. Chance for USC. Fulmowina, that time off of Adriano and out of bounds. Trans completed by USC.
Those are the types of plays that Brad Keller really appreciates. Working in transition, eliminating the mistakes. They're going to have to keep up a run. They're still in this second set, only down 6.
Oh, a long way to go, and Fulmowina needs to get hot. Weijie has done her part. Mullen's got to get going. That's a net violation, either on Messer or on Ford, number 7 in black. Terea Sigler will come on to serve. Out of Scottsdale, Arizona, 2-time Arizona Gatorade Player of the Year. Nebraska once again had an awfully good recruiting year. You add to that Campbell Flynn out of Oakland, Michigan, backup setter, the Gatorade National Player of the Year. So the beat goes on. Good pass by Weijie. Mullen still looking for her first kill and has it. Outstanding swing, and Abigail Mullen has got to get herself going.
That's a timely moment to have a kill like that. Just get the confidence back up for a young player that struggled at the game.
Well, Brad Keller, when Mullen was struggling, he said, look, you're an outstanding server. You dig 2 balls per set. She really defends her position. Adriano is blocked, and here comes USC. So Abigail Mullen cannot completely hang her body language, and is she a success or failure based on kills? Although USC needs a lot of them. 14-9. Messer again. Perfect pass by Mauk. Creates 1-on-1. Bergen Riley continues a long list of outstanding setters in the Big Ten Conference. Sydney Hilly won a national championship with Wisconsin. Of course, Lauren Carlini. Charlie Furbringer, healthy at Wisconsin now. Taylor Anderson doing a really good job for Purdue. And that ball blocked. See the difference? 3 blockers up for Nebraska when Weijie is hitting out of the back row.
Yeah, when Weijie's the only contributor that's been consistent so far tonight for USC, they're going to send the house to the net, as we saw there, and it works.
Mauk, 14 aces on the year. Played at the DS on Friday, playing in the Libero on this Sunday. That's going to be a joust coming. Murray getting to the ball quickly. Good dig by Sigler, and crossbody by Jackson.
Jackson, we talked about her versatility. Just being able to track the ball off that second pass, get up in the air at the right time, cock her arm back, and again, create something.
Which is not just anything. The best in the business right now in college volleyball is Andy Jackson. Maybe a chance to play here in Los Angeles at the 2028 Olympic Games. That's a ways off, but we shall see. I think there are a couple of players playing currently in college volleyball that could make the 2028 U.S. Women's Olympic team, and I think Andy Jackson is one of them. The other, in my opinion, Olivia, 2 years have been a disappointment. Here is Mauk. USC's reception has been good, and Abigail Mullen coming along. That's rotation number 1, the singular time that she hits off the left side.
That's what they need out of a timeout. Came, like you mentioned, within a serviceable margin. Then Nebraska got hot with 4 consecutive points. USC can take advantage on their own serve. Might be able to come back.
Here's Gala Trubant going short, working on Murray. Fantastic play off the right side. In between the seam and the block, Virginia Adriano. 5 kills on 9 swings so far for the Italian.
And if it was even possible, she improved in this set after a more quiet first one and coming alive off the edge. Able to swing so hard and made the block.
Number 14, Obeche on the floor once again for Nebraska. Andy Jackson to the sideline for the moment. Mullen, after a very slow start, 0 for 8, is 3 for her last 4.
That's the sort of confidence she's building. In her non-conference game, she would always come out hot. And when she has struggled, it's been a slow start for her in some of those conference games. Needs to recover.
Mullen averaging 3 kills per set, hitting at 206. And she, like Fomoina, has got to up that efficiency average. Landfair comes back on. So you have Obeche up front, along with Landfair and Bergen Riley. Here is Harper Murray. It's been all Nebraska so far on the afternoon. Huge crowd here at the Galen Center. A new record was predicted to be officially a sellout. And I have that number, 10,258. And remember that USC on the season through the previous schedule of home matches is averaging just under 2,400. So Nebraska draws. That ball just out of bounds.
There's just a few teams in every sport, feels like in college, that bring such a presence whenever they come to town, almost like the Harlem Globetrotters would back in the day. But
well, that was a neutral. I would beg to differ. This is a little bit like when I was doing the Lakers, and Shaq and Kobe would come to town, and people would pay exorbitant sums of money. Look at Nebraska work at the defensive end to get in the building. And it's so hard for Nebraska fans to get a ticket into the Devaney Center in Lincoln that they come out on the road because they can get into the Galen Center. They can get in to Pauley Pavilion and see their favorite team play. It's just a remarkable, remarkable story.
And they know it gives them an advantage. You have to infiltrate in this type of sport. So mental, relies a lot on the crowd. Nebraska's done that all year. They did it at UCLA. Doing it here today at Galen.
Well, Nebraska has sold out 359 consecutive times at the Devaney Center and led the nation in attendance since 2013. Good swing. What a dig by Murray. Just inside the antenna. SC trying to get a good block touch by Riley. SC with the dig. Really good read by Mauk. Harper Murray out of the back row. Just to finish the thought about attendance and what Nebraska has done, and what Nebraska has done uniquely to the Cornhuskers. They average in their 8 road matches 8,500 people. That's the second most. If their road matches were in the NCAA stats, at home they average 86. At 10,498 at UCLA, a new record for the Bruins. To Landfair, just a couple of points away. That's a good play by Landfair, and Nebraska 9 times out of 10 would cover that. She was just trying to recycle.
She's taken a lot of those risks today, and they've boded well for her, especially in that first set. But again, Nebraska with a sizable lead right now can afford to make some of those mistakes and still be on the right track.
Landfair 8 of 18. Harper Murray really good, 7 of 13. Rebecca Alec 5 of 9. Adriano 5 of 9 as well. Nebraska hitting .443 so far on the match. Unforced error for USC.
Nebraska on the verge of going up by double digits again here in this set 2. You thought maybe Brad Keller would have had a conversation, would have boded to closer to set number 2, but it looks like Nebraska is in control.
Well, hitting .435 and doing a magnificent job in their block defense and from the service line. Give USC a lot of credit. I think the problem for USC has not been in first ball. They've been pretty good. Block deflection, first ball contact. Their serve receive has been okay. Just Nebraska has been spectacular in block defense.
And that's what Brad Keller has emphasized. Even if you're perfect, you still have to deal with who's on the other side.
Well, look, Nebraska's got 32 kills on 62 swings. USC 20 kills on 68 swings. So Nebraska doing a magnificent job. They are the best defensive team in the country. Jalen Reyes deserves a lot of credit for that. Longtime assistant coach to John Cook, and now with Danny Busboom Kelly. Set point number 1. See, that pass is perfect. Dug by Mauk. And Mullen is able to tap that down. Good set point save for USC.
Talked about it earlier. They have to take what they can get, translate that to the next set. Can't let it get away from him. Really nice play from Mullen to track it, use those two hands.
Here's Truppin, set point once again for Nebraska. And Obeche able to cross-body that down to the floor. Another easy set win for the #1 team in the country. First set 25-13, second set 25-16. Very, once again, the two-time Arizona Gatorade Player of the Year, the 6'3" freshman, is playing this season anyway as a defensive specialist. She will certainly have her moments for the Cornhuskers. Underway third set. Weijie going off speed. Right side, Mullen going line. And again, after a slow start, Abigail Mullen, number 5 in black for USC, has turned things around very nicely.
And when she's had opportunities, she's had some statement kills that you don't typically see from a freshman. That's a big confidence builder for her as she navigated that slow start.
Mullen is now 5 for her last 6 after starting 0 for 8. And a really good sign for USC. Mia Taverdi, who did not play on Friday night, and a very, very dynamic middle attacker primarily, wearing number 8 in black, on now for the Trojans. So Brad Keller going into his bench now with 104 wins at USC. Rebecca Alec. But Bergen Riley, look at the delivery.
It was perfect all around, Paul, and that's one thing Alec has showed tonight. She can navigate hitting hard at certain times and keeping it more mellow, but that time she unleashed her force thanks to the nice set.
Nothing mellow about that. There's Taverdi, her first opportunity. Good block deflection, legally off the scoreboard, and it is a beautiful scoreboard, I might add. Taverdi again, 2 blockers there. Dug by Sigler, transition opportunity and scored. Virginia Adriano out of Italy in the score into the cross court.
We saw her unleash herself in that second set, just staying patient on the block, creating opportunities, and waiting on that set, evading 2 blockers.
USC made 2, 3, maybe 4 really good plays in that set, and it still wasn't enough. Mullen again, rip into the cross court, dug by Adriano. Reese, Messer with the first contact. And Weijie, that ball was close. Deckard in with the cover. Adriano again. Andy Jackson into the deep cross court.
It all starts with the pacing for Nebraska. We've seen that from them all match. Andy Jackson waiting patiently as Nebraska picks up the speed after USC just had to get the deflect block over.
And Nebraska is so good again in transition and so good in terms of point scoring. Did Taverdi get a piece of the block? She did not. Nebraska scores on their own side either a kill, a block, or an ace. 19 points per set. So they don't have to get much from their opponent in order to get to 25. They hold their opponents to 12.6 points. Covered by Deckard. Good set in transition. Man, it is hard to put the ball away. One-on-one. Beautiful delivery again by Bergen Riley.
And to your point, that's how you know a team like Nebraska is legitimate, which they most certainly are. They're not taking advantage of the freebies per se. They know what they have to do to get this one done, and it's hard hits like that just bottle up the USC team.
Deckard, perfect pass, working on Mullen. Nice slow down that time by Murray. Poor set, very poor set. A rare mistake that time by Reese Messer, who has had a fantastic first year at USC. And timeout is called by the Trojans. A new attendance record here at USC as well on this match as there was at UCLA on Friday because Nebraska's in town. Adriano into the cross court, dug by Messer. Weijie. Dug by Mauk, right on top of the net, and rejected by Murray.
Where hasn't Harper Murray been tonight? 7 kills, 4 digs, and a block. She's been everywhere tonight. Putting her body on the line, especially as well.
Swing by Mullen. Very nicely done by number 5 in black, again after a very slow start. Has killed 5 out of her last 6 chances. Look at Harper Murray. 3.6 kills per set, hitting over 300, 23 digs, and had 25 aces, putting her in the top 10 in that category as well, coming into the weekend. Oh, Harper Murray. And Murray's numbers, when you look at the per set numbers, hers would be a lot higher, except that Nebraska has been dominating their opponents. During the course of that 48-set winning streak, they were outscoring the opponent 25-18, so she's missing out on a lot of opportunities.
And that also speaks to the depth that Nebraska has had as well. Being able to share the opportunities as well. This is not a team that's led solely by one player. They've just been so deep this year.
Weapons right around the dial. We've talked about it with Rebecca Alec. Adriano has been a very nice addition, and Taylor Landfair and Andy Jackson. I mean, who do you focus on defensively? Weejay, wonderful shot inside the block. Big cross court by London Weejay.
She got really hot in that first set, hitting nearly at a 500 clip, and has been a little bit up and down ever since. But when they're able to set her up cleanly, that's where she thrives best. Cross-court special.
Boy, getting that's inside of Andy Jackson, you don't see that very often. 3 blockers up against Murray, and able to get the tool down inside the block. Lucky kill that time for Harper Murray, and she would say the same thing as she goes back to serve. (25-13, 25-16, and now a 9-3 lead. Good first contact by Fomoina, and there's Taverdi. Did not play on Friday night against Rutgers, and a very, very bouncy offensive attacker.
Didn't play in the first 2 sets tonight, and that's what she does show so well. Play like a blocker, has the ability to be so quick in transition. Talked about the transition offense. She's been a big contributor to that this year in her first season as a Trojan.
Verbeest back in the libero jersey. Brad Keller going with 2 liberos, 1 in reception, 1 in serve and defense. Weejay high swing, perfect first contact. Harper Murray really plays good center back defense in area 6. Good swing by Fomoina off the edge of the Nebraska block.
Talked about her and her efficiency so far. It's gotten better since the initial first set. Now she's 6 of 22, still under 100.
Good block deflection. Weejay, first contact. One of the best transition combinations for USC so far on the night.
You can thank Riley McGinnis for that. Because of her ability to get close to the net in transition, she has to cover a lot of ground in a short period of time, coming from the sideline to the middle.
And a really good block deflection to slow that ball down. 3 blockers up. Messer with the first contact. Fomoina, what a dig in the cross court that time by Choboy. Murray out of the back row. For USC, attacking 3 blockers up for Nebraska.
That's the difference right now. For how good Nebraska is, their game plan has been simple. It's been to slow down USC at the net. USC has not been able to return the favor.
Fomoina, good cover that time by Verbeest, and tap to the floor. Harper Murray, 10 of 18, as you mentioned, doing the job defensively. Coming in, she was passing good or perfect at 58%. That is an elite number. Here is Messer. SC got to have it. Fomoina, quick transition to the outside, and Mauk all over that. This time 3 blockers up for USC. Fomoina! Oh, just out of bounds. What a good swing. Maybe worth a challenge. Not so much by the players. They weren't sure. Here's Messer again. 10-8. Landfair. terminating off the left side, having a big match on this Sunday afternoon in LA after struggling a little bit at UCLA. Landfair now 9 of 24. Much improved in terms of her efficiency on the season.
That's why we talked about her pregame matchup in this game with Abigail Mullen. It's been dominant.
An unusual miss that time by Bergen Riley. 10.3 assists per set, 4th best in the conference. Gala Trubant on to serve now for the Trojans. Maybe the last chance for USC. Need to go on a little bit of a run, but it's hard to streak points against Nebraska. They're still hitting .446. That's a ball that's got to come up. That's frustration on the USC sideline. You get Landfair to go off speed, and USC has got to get that ball off the floor.
That's where you see kind of the rookie errors from USC. Messer has had a couple of those these past few sequences. Again, that wasn't hit all that hard, like you mentioned, Paul. The deflection.
Yeah, unlucky. McGinnis got just enough of it to change the trajectory away from Reese Messer. So Terea Sigler will go back to serve. Really good at the defensive end. Had 14 digs in the win over Wisconsin. Deckard is rock solid. Mullen again, and missed that one out of bounds. USC again, currently ranked at number 17. I'll give you their remaining schedule. If they finish, according to the selection committee, in the top 16, and they've got work to do, irrespective of this afternoon, then they could host the first 2 rounds at the Galen Center. Nebraska has already wrapped up, in my opinion, barring some incredible surprise, the number 1 overall seed. Weejay, dug by Mauk. And Murray is blocked. First hitting error so far on the afternoon for the All-American number 27, Harper Murray.
And only the 6th tonight for Nebraska. Like you mentioned, we'll take another look. It's Abigail Mullen and McGinnis that get in there, finally adding some pressure to multiple blockers.
Efficiency again, Rebecca Alec, 3rd in the conference at .428, and just putting up tremendous numbers, 10 of 14 with no errors in the win over Minnesota, and then 13 of 25 at UCLA. Here is Mauk. 14-10 is the advantage. Nebraska looking for the sweep, and that'll get him there. Really good block on the outside for Adriana. Nebraska has, after this match today, Iowa at Indiana. That's no layup, and then close out against Penn State and Ohio State. For USC at Oregon, that's a very dangerous team. Oregon won at UCLA and won at Purdue just yesterday, and then Illinois, and then Michigan and Michigan State. SC's in, but can they host? Weejay. And off the Nebraska block and out of bounds. That was off of Jackson. Good high flat shot.
To your point, USC's been so good at home this season as well. There's some road matches mixed in there. If they can host, if they lose today, they'll be 13-3 at home. It's remarkable what Brad Keller's been able to do here at Galen Center this season.
Adriano using all of the court. Excellent swing. The recruit from Italy. He's got 3 years of eligibility left, I have been told. Not because of anything that happened in Italy in the professional league, but she's 21 years of age. So the NCAA tournament committee decided that she can be a Cornhusker for 3 years, unless she goes back and plays professionally in one of the best leagues in the world. Weejay, that'll get chased down by Sigler. Look at Nebraska work at the defensive end. Taverdi off the edge of the block and out of bounds. Good to see Mia Taverdi, number 8 in black, able to come back out and play. SC's going to need her the rest of the way.
Yeah, she's done her job for the most part in the middle. How about Nebraska extending the play there? I don't know how they kept that one alive.
Look at this number, Casey. After this point, I'll give it to the people watching. It's an incredible number. Off the block, good score by Fomoina. Nebraska has dug 47 balls. USC is no slouch at the defensive end. 27, now make it 28. Look, Nebraska's hitting .438. You're not going to get a lot of digs, but tremendous credit to Nebraska with their defensive effort. Jackson, a rare hitting error, missed that out of bounds. And USC back within 2.
And we talked about it earlier. Nebraska was outdug by 11 at UCLA. That was a point of emphasis for the coaching staff, and they've absolutely flipped that script.
Back row combination. Sigler is dug. What a block by Jackson. 1-on-1 against Taverdi.
That's what makes Jackson the player she is. She can be everywhere. And on that one-on-one, able to take advantage of a player who, once again, hits hard.
Just fantastic hand and eye work. Fomoina, and got a piece of the top of the block. Adanya Fomoina has really responded nicely, as has Abigail Mullen. The linesman called a touch, but that ball was ruled out of bounds. So now the lead is back to 4. Here's Murray. Very tough serve. Smart shot by Fomoina using Bergen-Riley. Bergen-Riley wants a challenge. Thought that ball might have caught a piece of the line. It's a very smart shot by Fomoina.
You can tell the cerebral ability that Fomoina has, now co-leading USC in kills with 9, has been there all night. Just hasn't had the luck. Got it there.
You better be smart against the Nebraska block.
Oh, yeah.
You hit low and hard, and you're going to pay the price. Jackson again. The best slide hitter in all of college volleyball, and certainly one of the best that I've ever seen. Jackson now 7 kills on 14 swings. Weejay. Jackson playing some defense. Survival mode. Look at Harper Murray again. Phenomenal defense in what we call area 6 in the middle back. Really phenomenal. Back row again. Weejay off the edge of the block and away from Jackson.
And it took USC having to deal with, like you mentioned, some incredible defense from Nebraska. Weejay thought she ate her up, and ball stayed alive somehow. Good on USC to stick with the play, even when it seemed bleak.
Coming into the UCLA match, Nebraska had hit over 400 in their last 3 matches. They were held under 300 for the first time against UCLA. Still a 3-1 win for Nebraska. But on the afternoon, 424 efficiency for Nebraska to 155 for USC. Alec having another near perfect afternoon. 7 kills on 12 swings, no errors. Weejay, good swing, dug by Mauk. Harper Murray, did she get a piece of the block? Did not. Excellent swing, but did not get the touch. We might have a challenge. Here is Trubin. Right side again, Alec over the top of the block and down. Rebecca Alec. You talked about it, Casey. Nebraska has so many weapons as a block defense. It's like, where do you focus? Your head just has to be on a swivel.
That's why Nebraska is taking advantage tonight. It feels like USC has had to juggle so many different things tonight. And Alec has been so consistent at the net front, wherever she may be. Mostly worked in the middle.
Hitting for a tremendous percentage and efficiency once again. Good set to the right side. A little pokey there by Harper Murray to keep the ball alive on a better block. McGinnis on the outside with Weejay. But back to Rebecca Alec. Having a first-team All-American season. I think that Alec, along with Jackson, are the best middle blocking duo in the country. Rebecca Alec, 9-13, hitting .692. She had 7 block assists on Friday night at UCLA. Very easy serve. That's way too easy. And you're going to pay the price. You can't do that against Nebraska. Or anybody else for that matter.
That's uncharacteristic from USC. Usually a team that is able to create a little bit more trouble on the receiving end of serves. Once again, we know what Adriana has been able to do this game.
Adriano very efficient as well. Good shot down the line. Good chase by Sigler after the dig by Mount. Must have if you're USC. Absolutely got to have it. And off the edge, Mullen. Good line shot that time off the edge of Murray.
That's what Abigail Mullen has done well when she succeeded in this game, creating those deflections, timing it up well, being at the right place.
Mullen has really smoothed things out after an 0 for 8 start. Give her a lot of credit. Andy Jackson. Very difficult to defend. Nebraska 2 points away. They will head over to LAX, get on their charter, and get back to Lincoln, Nebraska. And a timeout is called by Brad Keller of USC. Once again, the upcoming schedule for Nebraska first, Iowa at Indiana, Penn State, and Ohio State. And then for USC at Oregon. To me, that is huge. Illinois, and then closing out. See, Michigan and Michigan State and Oregon and Illinois are still very, very much in the mix as far as a playoff spot. So those are going to be very, very competitive matches. Riley, what have you got for us?
Well, here's what I got for you. So Allie Batenhorst is on the sideline right now with her beach volleyball partner, Sarah Hughes. Now, Allie Batenhorst, that name should sound familiar. She played 3 seasons at Nebraska and then last year at USC. She went on to play professionally for indoor, but she made the switch to beach volleyball that shocked the world. Nobody saw this coming. Everybody was shocked. So Sarah Hughes just announced her as her partner, and they're going to make a stride for it for LA 28. So watch out for them, but here she is supporting both of her former teams.
Batenhorst had a fantastic career indoors before now going out to the beach. Beach competition at the 2028 Olympics. Got to qualify first. Will be held in Long Beach. The indoor volleyball competition will be held in Anaheim, formerly called the Pond. I'm not sure what it's called any longer, but that's where volleyball will be. And also for volleyball fans, the 2027 Women's World Championships will be hosted jointly by Canada and the United States, and the final round of 16 will all be played at Long Beach.
Exciting time in Southern California with this scene going on.
Jay, block touch. Say that a lot when you hit against Nebraska. Good cover by Jackson. Murray again. Oh, that ball just out of bounds. Not going to challenge for a touch there. Not when you're leading 23-19. Really solid all the way around. Adriano has been exceptional, hitting .389. Taylor Landfair with 10 kills. Harper Murray with 10. Rebecca Alec with 9. Andy Jackson with 7. Very high efficiency. Sigler out of the back row, getting into the act. Not often that your defensive specialist is also a very good attacker. Match point number 1 for Harper Murray.
I think that theme applies to a lot of players on this Nebraska team. Bunch of Swiss Army knives.
Nebraska hitting 400, 53 digs, 8 blocks, siding out at 80% on the match. 80% for the win. Andy Jackson closes it out. 3-1 on Friday night against UCLA, and a very impressive sweep against number 17 USC. And until now, USC had won, Casey, 9 matches in a row. Very impressive by the Cornhuskers.
Absolutely, and that was a record by Brad Keller.